back to the Big Show. My name is Matteo, and I am going to be drinking a beer. So let's get right to it, huh? Get some delicious beer. This is a brand new beer I'm drinking. It's by New Belgium, but it's called Shift. Shift. It's a really great beer, and I'm not going to lie that the whole reason that I even took a look at this beer was because of the marketing on this can. I mean, look at that. That is like awesome. I don't know why it's so cool, but it's like amazingly awesome. Then I saw that it was a pale lager, and I'm like, oh, a pale lager. You mean something that could be like a white IPA? Well, maybe this is for real this time. Now, of course, there are many beer snobs out there who will tell you that getting a macro brew from someplace like New Belgium is just ridiculous because, you know, hey, they're a big beer trying to get in on the little beer guys stuff. But hey, you know, sometimes you got to give these things a try. And also, I'm just trying to get through the, you know, the stuff everyone knows before I get to the good stuff, you know? So, here's what this beer looks like. It's a nice little, almost caramel color. In real life, it's caramel color. It's a little lighter on the picture. But it's a... Now, here's what's amazing, is that the feel of this beer actually feels like it's a regular lager. Like it almost feels like you're drinking like a Bud Light or a Miller Lite, which, you know, sometimes if you're just going to pound a few beers, that's amazing. But what's great about this beer is that it actually has the nice hoppiness of a normal, say, pale ale, or it has a light hoppiness. I shouldn't say it has the regular hoppiness of a pale ale, but it has that hoppiness to it that I always dig. And so for there actually to be a light beer that actually tastes like a heavy beer, then I love it. This is what I was hoping for when I got the white IPA, so the fact that I actually found it in the Shift beer by New Belgium just makes me happy, man. It just makes me happy, and it's delicious. So definitely I recommend this. If you go on Beer Advocate, the boys at Beer Advocate gave it an 83, but it seems that the common score for it is an 88 on Beer Advocate, so I don't know what that tells you. I saw a lot of people complaining about it, but yet scoring it well, so I got nothing else on that one. Delicious beer, highly recommended. If you're going to sit down and you want to drink an actually good tasting beer on a hot summer's day, I'm going to say Shift Lager is the beer for you. Star Trek II, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it, shall we? Well, what did you all think? It's really hard for me to talk about this movie without giving anything away, so I'll give you general things about it, and then I'm going to hit a big spoiler alert in the middle of this and let you know when I'm going to talk about the stuff. Generally, I liked the movie. I liked, you know, everyone in the cast is back. They all look great in their respective parts. For the most part, the story was really good. That's all I can really say about it without talking about any of the huge spoilers that exist within the movie. So here we go, big spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, just so you know. So let's talk about Khan, shall we? Huh? We haven't seen this guy since Star Trek II of the original. So it's funny he comes back here in Star Trek II of the reboot. Now, of course, here's what we know, is that in the world that we're now living in this new Star Trek world, right, we are actually hitting characters and episodes, and if you've been following the comic books, some of these have been done really well. It's completely plausible, too, at this point, to say that, hey, we run into Khan. The Khan of Space Seed, not the Khan of Wrath of Khan, because obviously how he ends on Space Seed is not how he ends in this movie, and so his wrath would not be the same against Kirk. So, of course, the difference in this one is that he's not found by the Enterprise. It's not Captain Kirk who stumbles upon Khan this time, but is in fact Dr. Marcus. No, not Dr. Carol Marcus, but Dr. Carol Marcus's father, who finds Khan and then puts him to work to try and build a big new powerful weapon so that they can go to war against the Klingons. Because why not? We all need a good war, don't we? Well, of course, things go awry when people like Kirk figure out what Marcus is doing, and boom! Oh my gosh, we have a big story on our hands, with Khan in the middle of it. But really, all he wants is his family back. Ultimately, I generally liked the storyline. The problem that I really had with it was, not only are you going to kill somebody, which of course we all saw coming, right? We all saw him having to go into engineering and fix the hyperdrive. But then we all knew he was coming back right away, right? Because we were all like, oh, you know, there was that little weird scene with Dr. McCoy and the Tribble. Obviously, that's going to come back and help out Kirk, isn't it? isn't it? So overall, I like the nods, and I sort of like that they changed it up because, hey, why not? We're in a new universe. Let's tell the same story, but in a different way. I get it. I like it. I just feel like it was too derivative of the original movie for me to officially love it beyond all recognition. But anyway, it's good Star Trek, so I'm going to love it. And if I had to do, say, out of 10 beer mugs, I'll give it a 8. I think I'll give it an 8. That sounds good. Anyway, I like it. I highly recommend it. End of spoilers. So, of course, I'm a Bulls fan, but now that the Bulls are out of it, gotta go Spurs, right? Why not? Because the Heat suck. The Heat are like the Yankees of the NBA. Let's just buy ourselves a team and hope it works. Well, it's working. And I hate it. Of course, I wouldn't be saying any of this if LeBron had gone to the Bulls. What can you do? And then on this note, real quick, I just want to talk about it for a second. The finale of Doctor Who this season was fantastic. I loved it. I loved all the homages, and I love the ending, and I love that we are now being sent into the 50th anniversary special where, again, David Tennant and Matt Smith will be hand in hand with Rose. Also watched The Office finale, and man, was that fantastic. I think that, there are a few finales of shows that I've seen in my lifetime that have been ranked very high in, best finales of all time. I remember the MASH one. That was amazing. My Aunt Grace once said of that finale that it's so great, it's so perfect and so final. She said it was really tough to kind of go back and watch the old episodes because they're still stuck there. And she knows that they got out and that everything was fine. So that's a really good point. MASH, an amazing show anyway, but that finale hits home. It's really good. Of course, the second one after that being Newhart, which I remember seeing, and I was 10. And my parents were huge Bob Newhart fans anyway. And so I had seen the original Newhart show. Then in Newhart, when there's the callback to Suzanne Plachette and the Bob Newhart show. That was one of those like real aha moments, like it's almost one of the first things you almost remember being meta. It's almost been hard since then to really make a good and solid finale. This finale of The Office was it. I think that they really hit the mark. They hit all the tender moments while keeping it funny. And even though perhaps some of those endings were a little bit forced, I'm glad that they gave people the endings, With the exception of Toby, really everybody had a happy ending. Except, of course, for poor Robbie, who ends up getting ditched by Kelly when she literally runs away off into the sunset with Ryan. A fantastic episode. I really thought it was a great way to sort of send off the show. Last thing I want to talk about was this. Coming at you live right here from the Paul McCartney concert in Austin, Texas. Yep, that's right. I got to see old Paul McCartney in concert here in Austin. It's his first time ever in Austin, and man, what a concert. Because look at this. Makes you The guy's 70 years old, and he's still rocking out harder than most people can imagine. Anyway, big props to Sir Paul and the big awesome concert he put here in town. Yeah, that's me here singing. What do you want to do? Make a big deal out of it? It was an amazing show. Paul rocked it for 3 hours. 70-year-old man on stage, rocking hard for 3 hours. It just doesn't get any better than that. Probably one of the greatest concerts I've ever seen in my life. Truly fantastic. Can you tell I liked it? Well, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up this week. My name is Matteo. I'm recommending Shift Beer. It's become one of my favorite beers, and I'm going to drink it a lot. My name is Matt, and I just drink a beer.